Have you ever assumed something about someone only to find out that you were right or that you were wrong? Stay tuned to see what people are assuming about me. I found it humorous. Maybe you will too. Hey everyone, for those of you who are new, my name is Melissa and I post videos on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays about cooking, cleaning, organizing, momming, just lifing. So if you are interested in that, then click that red subscribe button down below. We would love for you to join our community here on YouTube. And for those of you who are not new and have not yet clicked on that bell, what that does is it lets you know every time I post a new video so you don't have to keep coming back and looking for one. So I asked you guys to assume some things about me. If I were to ask you, what do you think I'm like? Or what would you assume I do? And it was really funny to me to see some of your comments. They made me laugh. They made me think, oh my goodness, am I portraying that? But it was fun to read what everybody had to say. And I have a few minutes today while I'm waiting for my kids. I'm out here in the parking lot. But I thought that it would be a great opportunity for you guys to help occupy me, to go ahead and read through your comments and just address whether or not you were right or wrong. You never yell at your kids or your husband. I would so love to tell you that this was true, but it's not. Do I go around screaming and yelling and, carrying on like a mad woman? No, that I do not do. But I think we've all been frustrated at some point or time where we just, enough is enough. And, mama loses her cool a little bit and raises her voice and, has just absolutely come to the breaking point. And so, yes, there are times where I do that. The times that probably cause me to do that more is when I have literally asked 5 times, and I know 5 is like the popular number. I can remember being young. I always joke about this with my husband and now with my parents. Like growing up, either 3 or 5 was the popular number. I've asked you 3 times. I've asked you 5 times. I don't know what it is, but I was like, seriously, you've only asked me 1 time. This is what I was thinking as a child. Now, as an adult, I find myself saying, I've asked you 3 times, I've asked you 5 times, and my kids, I know in their mind, are doing exactly what I did and saying, seriously, this woman only asked me 1 time. But anyway, those are the times that drive me insane, and that's when I probably lose my cool. The easiest is when I have literally asked over and over and just totally feel like I'm being ignored. As far as yelling at my husband, I mean, just like any married couple, we get frustrated with each other. We're very opposites attract. Sam is very much an extrovert, likes to go, go, go. I'm very much an introverted hermit. But I guess we balance each other out very well. And so, for me, probably if I were to say, what is the one thing that frustrates me or annoys me the most, or, the times that I might snap back with sarcasm or, a snide remark or something like that, that would be communication. Communication is a huge thing for me. And if I feel like something wasn't communicated that might have been easy to communicate, then I get a little bit frustrated with that. You don't swear. You know what? I really don't. If you hear me drop the F-bomb, like we're in some serious trouble, okay? I just don't. I guess for me, and I was kind of raised like this too, like I don't feel like by me adding the F word or the S word or any other words into a sentence makes that sentence any cooler or makes that sentence come across any better. I guess kind of for me, and if you're a swearer, more power to you. I am not saying this to disrespect you or any of that. This is just my personal opinion, and kind of what I feel when I hear cussing. But I guess for me, when I hear people cuss, the first thing that I think of is, could you not have thought of an intelligent word to put in that sentence? Like, it's not hard to think of bad words. You know, we all know them. We've all heard them said. But to actually have a conversation with someone who is only kind of using those words, you're just kind of like, you know, this conversation, it's lacking a lot for me. And probably what it's lacking the most of is maturity. And I guess I don't cuss around my kids. I don't allow them to cuss. And I get kind of perturbed when other people cuss around my kids, because I just find it unnecessary, I guess, for lack of any other word. I don't see the point. I don't see what those words add to any sentence whatsoever, unless you're on fire. You know, and so I guess, like I said in the beginning, if you hear me drop one of those words, we're in some serious mess, okay? And you should probably call the police. You are very conservative. Well, now that's a funny one to follow what I was just talking about, isn't it? I probably am considered a little bit more conservative. I just feel like this is hard for me to respond to, because I don't ever want to make somebody feel like I'm, you know, putting down their way of thinking or doing. But for me, I'm kind of old school. You know, I appreciate the way that I was raised. I feel like there's a right and a wrong way to treat people. I feel like there are certain characteristics that just make you a good person. And I feel like there is a certain amount of respect that, number one, you need to have for other people, and number two, that you need to teach your kids to have for other people. We're really, really focused as a society, and I blame a lot of this on social media and the news and blah, blah, blah. We're really focused on ourselves, and we're focused on how others are making us feel. At the end of the day, how you choose to feel about something is exactly that. How you choose to feel about something. Somebody cannot make you feel a certain way, or they cannot make you do something, to most extents. Obviously, abuse and things like that, that's a totally different issue than what I'm talking about. But I'm just really tired of hearing, well, they made me feel this way. People can make you irritated. People can make you sad. People can make you angry. But at the end of the day, how you choose to respond and react to what somebody did to you or what somebody said to you, that's totally up to you. You're the one that is in control of your reactions and your thoughts. Everybody wants to post their thoughts on politics and all that kind of stuff. And people just get really bent out of shape about that. And I understand, we all have our views. We all have our views on, you know, how the country should be run and all of this kind of stuff. We all have our thoughts. But just because somebody else doesn't agree with maybe the thoughts that I have or the way that I think the country should be run, it doesn't mean that that person is a horrible person and that I have to now be unkind to them, or I have to say something unkind, or I have to just totally wipe them, you know, from my presence. It just means that they don't agree with me. And that's okay. And I think that that's where we've come, is that it's not okay for a lot of people to disagree with other people or with them. And I think because of that, that's where we get into icy spots of morals, treating people with kindness, treating people with respect, treating people with love. And for me, I want to be good at those things, but yet I also want to teach my kids those things. And I just kind of see a lot more parents nowadays not being so, I guess, proactive on teaching their kids those things. So if that makes me conservative, I'm okay with being conservative. I just feel like we've lost a lot of things as a society that were really kind of cool to have. You were a straight A student. I took really good notes. So I was horrible at math. Horrible. To this day, I am horrible. I do not get it. It never made sense to me. It passed like the 5th grade. And still doesn't, which now that I have to try to help my kids. So this is the funny thing. They tell you, you're never going to use any of this later in life. Oh, you sure are. You sure are when your kids come back through the 4th and 6th grade and you go to help them on their work and you're like, yeah, well, mom's out, because I have no idea. Praise God that Sam is a numbers guy. He is smart. He can look at that stuff and figure it out. But because of that, my kids think that I am totally inept. And I hate that. Oh, it's a horrible feeling. But I did well-ish in certain things. So what I will say is I honestly believe that and I've talked to people in my life and friends who went to school with me about this, but I truly believe if I were tested today, I would probably test positive for a learning disability. It was hard for me to comprehend. It was hard for me to understand unless there was like a craft with it. I'm a very, very visual, hands-on person. And for me, the whole sitting down and, memorizing these formulas and stuff in math, I had no idea. It was literally like they were asking me to write out a sentence in Chinese. It didn't ever click. And, I remember Sam tried to teach me in college. Like, he tried to tutor me, help me, whatever, with some of my homework that I was doing. And it ended very poorly. It ended in tears and, frustration. I was frustrated. Sam was in tears. Whatever. No, I'm kidding. Inside he was in tears. But it never clicked. As far as all of the other subjects, I took really, really good notes. Like, my notes were spot on and neat. There was like bullet points and whatever. But when I would go to study, it's like I could study for hours and hours and hours and sit down to take that test. And like, I just totally blanked. It was like I had never ever seen this stuff before. I was a horrible test taker. Like, I could get by with B's on tests. But no, I was not a straight A student. Studying came very, very hard for me. That your car is just as clean and organized as your house. Oh, that's funny. It is. Friends, I'm sorry. I can't lie. It is. I figure I'm in this almost as much as I'm in my house, so I want it clean. I don't want to be, living in squalor in here while I'm driving down the road. I like a clean car. I really do. I don't like to get in and smell funk and, bad smells and odors. I appreciate a clean car. My dad taught me that. My dad always taught me, no matter what car you have, no matter how old or how new, make sure it's clean, because you will feel 100 times better about whatever it is that you're driving around, and you will take pride in whatever it is that you're driving around if it's clean. If it's clean on the outside and if it's clean on the inside. And so I have taken that rule of thought with me ever since I started driving. I didn't have a fancy car in high school. I actually had to buy my parents' car that they were driving at the time. I didn't get a hand-me-down. I didn't get a, that a girl, this is your gift. No, I had to pay for the car. It was like $950, I think I had to give my parents, which was a lot of money at that time. I was working at Target and working at a daycare. Great birth control, by the way. But I have just always had a respect and a pride about what I'm driving around. I don't ever want to have a freak out moment where somebody at the last second has to ride with me and they have to get in my car and it's total nast. That would give me like some insane anxiety. So no. That you don't sleep. Oh, my friends are so naughty. I don't need a lot of sleep. I never have. I was always the child that was like up at 6:30 when the rest of the house was sleeping on the weekend. I was like crafting and making Play-Doh. That's before there was slime. I don't need a lot. Like, I go to bed at, it depends. I can go to bed at 11 o'clock and be totally fine waking up at 5 or 4:45 a.m. My body just, I don't know what it is. It just does not need a lot of sleep. And so a lot of times I am my most productive in the evening, actually. When everybody is asleep, or early in the morning. When everybody is asleep and I just have the house all quiet to myself, I can get a lot of like reading or computer work or things like that done when everybody else is out. But no, you're right. I don't sleep a lot. You are very well off, but yet very frugal. So our needs are met. We have food on the table, our bills are paid, there's clothes on our back, we have cars to drive to work and church and school and all the things, and we have a warm roof or a cool roof in the summertime over our head. And I guess for me, that's my definition of well off or doing well. If I can honestly say that my bills are paid, I don't have outstanding bills, I don't, owe tons of money, that my needs are met, then in my opinion, that is well off. And so well off for me looks very different. You can be making, $75,000 a year. You can be making $25,000 a year. But if you are able to say, my bills are paid, I have a roof over my head, I have clothes on my back, and I have food to eat, and I have a car to get me to and from, that's just my definition of being well off. Does my husband have a good job? Yes, he does. But I don't feel like we look at life any differently because of that. I was not raised with a ton of money. I had to buy a lot of things on my own. I had to save for them. I was truly taught what a dollar was. And that it was hard to get. And so I don't feel like I look at life any differently now that I might be in a different bracket than, say, my parents were, or that my friends' parents were, or that my grandparents were, or whatever. I shop at the same Walmart that everybody else shops at. I shop at the same Target. I hate the mall. I don't like paying mall prices. I absolutely despise it. Now that's not to say that I've never been in a mall. That's crazy talk. But if I can find something for cheaper, then I'm sure shootin' gonna do that. Just because I think it's ridiculous to pay tons of money on things that I could get for half the price and it doesn't have a name brand tag on it. Like, to me, name brand stuff is whatever. I don't care. Do I have an expensive handbag? Yes. Do I use it all the time? Absolutely not. I feel like that has a time and a place. I shop on ThreadUp for my kids, for myself. That's like an online hand-me-down store, friends. Where you can get used all the way up to like new with tags clothes that other people have had. For me, I'm very frugal. Now that's not to say that I haven't, purchased something on a higher level or high end a few times in my life. Sure. I think we can all say I spent such and such a money on this, but is it a normal occurrence for me? Certainly not. I'm just not that girl. If you trot in front of me with, fancy shoes or a handbag or, a name brand outfit, I'm just not your girl that you're going to get a head turn from. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that, number one, you didn't put it on a credit card. Number two, you can afford it and you're not going without food or without paying your bills because you purchased that. And again, just that your needs are met at the end of the day. For me, that is truly being well off, is that you don't have financial stress. And that's just my thoughts on that. That you have hated moving as many times as you have. No, I haven't hated it. When we signed up for this whole journey that my husband has been on, did I know that I was going to have to move this much? Certainly not. I had no idea, but yet I honestly had no idea what was in store for us either. I didn't know all of the amazing friends that we were going to meet everywhere we've been. So for those of you who are new, we have lived in 8 states and had 18 addresses in 19 years. Well, 20 years this year. And it's all been due to my husband's career. But it's all come with like really amazing stuff, and really and by stuff I just mean kind of like, all that has encompassed that. Great friends, great scenery, great places to visit, great little tiny small towns. So for the most part of, our journeys, it's been in the South. So we've lived in North Carolina, Georgia, Texas, Florida, where else? Kansas City, Denver, and now Kansas City. So we've been a lot of places, but we've had amazing adventures, and I wouldn't be who I am today without those adventures and without those struggles that came with each move. I mean, every move has its struggles, you adjust, you learn, you adapt, blah, blah, blah. Every journey, every adventure comes with struggle of some sort. You adapt and change and, all the things that come along with just new surroundings. And due to all of that, that's who and why I am who I am today, is because all of those things created this, you know. And so for that, I'm thankful. I have seen darkness and I have seen light in all of those times, different places than others, but it's, some of it, you know, has brought me to the foot of the cross, and some of it has been like living in Mayberry. And so I feel like for me to say that I've hated moving and I've hated being all of these different places, that would be silly and immature to say that, because all of those places are what have grown me and shown me my abilities and my strengths and my weaknesses. You don't like to cook. So I do like to cook. I really like to cook. Do I like to spend hours and hours in the kitchen? No, I absolutely do not. I love to cook things that are less than 30 minutes. If I can get a meal on a table in less than 30 minutes, we're golden. I love to bake. I don't show a lot of recipes and cooking things. I just don't show a lot of those because usually it's like me getting things around, and we come home from school, we do the homework, we do all of those things, you know, that come along with after school. And then it's like me hurrying and trying to get food on the table and a meal prepared and all of that. And so it's just, it's a lot harder to try to put together a video around that time. Which is why I don't show you a lot of, you know, cooking videos. But no, I really do like to cook. I like to cook clean and simple and easy and manageable meals. But as far as like all of the time consuming or going into the kitchen and just like throwing some stuff together because I think it might taste good, I don't do that. No, I don't like doing that. Yay to those of you who love to do that, because you're the ones that are then giving us the recipes to try, is because you love going in the kitchen and just seeing what you can whip up. That might be dangerous if I tried to whip something up just because I thought it might go well together. I do really good with a recipe. And I appreciate those of you who, you know, put your recipes up on Pinterest and everywhere else, Instagram and all of that, because I love trying new stuff. That you are short. I wouldn't say that I'm short. I'm about 5'5". I'm not ashamed to say it. I weigh about 121, 22, 23 pounds. But I'm just kind of your average gal, I guess. That you don't like to be late. Oh my goodness. No, I do not like to be late. It just grabs my skin for me to be late. For me, I feel like it is a huge display of disrespect to be late. In my opinion, that's like me telling somebody else that my time is more important than their time. I try really, really hard to be on time to the things that I have to attend, that my kids and husband and us as a family have to attend, just because, again, I feel like it's a display of respect, and my view, our view towards somebody else's time and somebody else's effort, you know, to do something or to put something together or to volunteer for or whatever. I feel like by me showing up late is just like doing one of these to somebody, you know. Guys, thank you so much for your comments and your assumptions and for just kind of, I guess, playing along. It was super fun to see what you guys think of me or see what you assumed about me or, you know, whatever. It was just fun, and it was fun to comment and just kind of talk and hang out with you guys. You've really kept me occupied. My kids should be coming anytime now, and we can go home and do the whole nighttime, after school, evening routine. If you guys are not yet subscribed to my channel, again, just click on that subscribe button down below. I would love for you to join this community here. We have a lot of fun. And click on that bell as well so that you're notified every single time I post a new video and you don't miss out on any of what goes on over here. Friends, until next time, I just encourage you to intentionally create a life that you absolutely love living and won't need a vacation from. I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.